This is Hayden Harrington with Momentum Multifamily, and today I'm going to give you a quick tip for the first thing that we do when we start underwriting a deal. And that is, we want to figure out what percentage of total gross potential income are the different income and vacancies, concessions, and write-off line items. We want to see what percentage of total gross potential rent, or GPR, those line items are. So what we're going to do real quick, if you follow along on my screen, we're going to write two columns. We're going to have T12 and T1. You can add another column in here, T3, if you want to, by all means. And then we're going to highlight those cells. And all we're going to do is simply do equals this column divided by the total gross potential. So right now we're looking at vacancy. What is vacancy as a percentage of total gross potential? So what we're going to do is convert that to percentage, 2 decimal places, and there you go. So we can see the total vacancy over the past 12 months is 6.53%, or the property is about 93%, 93.5% occupied. So what we're going to do is we're going to freeze that top cell, which is total gross potential. And then we're going to do the same thing over here for the T1. So we're going to go to the most recent month and just do the same thing. Total vacancies divided by total gross potential rent. And what we're going to do is freeze that top cell, convert it to percent, 2 decimal places. And then we're going to select these and just drag them down over total income. And so we can delete the cells that are empty. And there we go. This is a really easy, simple way to get a quick look at how this property is performing. So you can see what other income items are as a percentage of total gross potential rent. And then also, these are really important percentages right here. You can see the vacancies, concessions, and write-offs as a percentage of total gross potential rent, or GPR. So immediately you can see where trends are going. So obviously this is a good sign that you can see obviously vacancy is decreasing, but at what cost? Right now you can see, okay, we had a spike in concessions. So they may be leasing units and getting the property occupied, but they're having to give more away to get units leased right now. And these just propose questions that you can dig into. You can talk to the broker with, or you can see what competing properties or comps in the area are doing as well, to really understand the strength or weakness of that submarket. So as you can see, over the T12, we had less than 0.5% concessions. That's good. That's typically, a property that's stable is less than 0.5%. They're not having, in a strong submarket, you're not having to give away much concessions. But as you can clearly see, which is very evident right here, they've had to ramp that up. Really, the concessions, so this is an interesting thing to note right here. This less than 0.5%, that's because it's all recent. They weren't giving any concessions away up to May of 2020. And then as you can see this trend, it's really escalating. So that is a concern. So what we'll do is we'll want to highlight those cells, and you obviously want to highlight this so that okay, this is something that I need to dig into more. Why is this property, or potentially even submarket, struggling with being able to rent at market rates right now? While occupancy is holding strong, you're having to give away more and more rent, which is going to take longer to be able to burn that off down the road. So also they have an increase of a percent in bad debt and write-offs. So as you can see, this is prior to COVID. COVID hit about March here, February, March, kind of in this area. As you can see, they weren't dealing with a whole lot of that. And then now it's been pretty consistent, and it's starting to really increase here. So this is a slight concern as well. You can highlight this and just dig into more. Why is this property struggling? Is it the tenant base? Is it just the submarket in general? Or what's going on here? So this is really important. It's a quick, simple tip, and you can really start to understand and dig into a property. Also, for other income items, it's really easy to see what percentage of total gross potential are your other income. And in total other income, typically that's actually pretty high. Normally, typically, we see other income as a percentage of GPR. We see about 8 to 10%, maybe 12%. So this is pretty high. Not that it's a bad thing, but just trying to figure out, is this sustainable? Is there ways to continue to grow other income potentially, maybe through billing back more water? So another quick, easy tip right here is you can say, okay, if this is my water bill, and then we can scroll down to see what their utility, what they're actually using. So 102,000 is the water bill. So we can say, okay, they're billing, let's see what percent they're billing back. Should be about 80%. Oops. Equals total recovery divided by total cost. And you can see, okay, they're billing back 77% of the water, which is pretty good. There's not a whole lot more that you can really get out of that. Typically, it's about 80% is what you want to bill back. So that's a good sign. So again, this is a super quick, easy first step when you're underwriting. Great way to kind of dig into the property and understand what may be happening here. And these may present some questions that you may want to bring back to the broker and figure out what's going on here. When you drive the property and actually try to understand what that area is like, it may give you some insights, knowing in the back of your mind that, okay, this area is dealing with concessions, it's dealing with higher bad debt. What could be the possible reasoning for that? So again, it doesn't give you all the answers here, but it may help really point out some things that you want to hone in on, you want to pay attention to, so that when you submit an offer or you take over the property, you know what you're getting into. So again, super easy, super quick, high level first step when you're underwriting a deal.